right? Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Love and light. Grand rising. Rise and shine. It's your brother, Omni Aminashi, also known as Omni Omnis. This is courtesy of OmniVision EDU. Welcome to another session of Natural Science 101. Today's hot topic is genotype phenotype transcription. And I'll be showing you guys how genes and genetics translates into physical characteristics and traits, okay? So this is a methodology of how you can use science to identify native versus non-native indigenous persons, okay? Now, DNA is your God-given biological identity, which is only inherent, something that cannot be changed, but something that can only be inherent to you. You are your DNA, okay? You are your physical constitution, all right? DNA is what makes us who we are, right? The different living organisms in nature that have different genetic information, okay? And the genetic information is what's responsible for different types of life forms, the characteristics that you see, the traits that you see. In science, living organisms, all right, life forms are grouped together by species. And species are organisms who share common genetic information, all right? So in reference to ethnicity, when we use the terms African or Asian or Latino or European, those terms are in reference to phenotype. And phenotype means physical type, the physical traits and the physical characteristics. Genotype deals with biochemistry. Genotype deals with immunity. Genotype deals with blood type, okay? We have groups and grouping that have no specific kind, type, or sort associated with it. And I believe that this is a means to hide the identity of the native indigenous peoples. The more you know about biology and the more you know about chemistry, then the more you know about yourself, okay? Because we all have biochemistry or biological chemistry, right? And it's what makes us who we are. Biochemistry is the branch of science concerned with the chemical and physiochemical processes and substances that occur within living organisms, okay? So we're looking at biological makeup to understand who we are, what are we made of. Tracing genetics. So technically what I found through my independent research is that ethnicity is based upon genotype phenotype transcription, okay? Genotype phenotype transcription is responsible for ethnicity, okay? This means that all ethnicities share the same or similar genes. It's impossible for individuals of the same ethnicity to not have the same or similar genes. This is what determines grouping, okay? Chemical, remember I talked about biochemistry? Chemical and cellular composition. It is the chemicals that translates into the cells that makes up the bodily tissues, okay? So these are smaller biological units of matter that are responsible for who we are physiologically, all right? Gene expression is the process whereby the information of a gene is used in the synthesis of a functional gene product, okay? Now, gene regulation deals with the structure and the function of a cell. Now in genetics, gene expression is the most fundamental level at which genotype translates into phenotype, which are the observable traits, right? So we talked about that. So all of these things go hand in hand. Genotype plus phenotype equals gene expression. Now, depending on what types of cell or organism has, that's going to determine the traits and characteristics, the abilities of that particular organism. Now, the genetic code stored in DNA and the properties of gene expression is what gives rise to phenotype. All right? So, it is the genetic sequencing. Phenotypes are often expressed by the synthesis of proteins or acids, which controls the organism's shape or that act as an enzyme catalyzing metabolic pathway, characterizing the organism by its information, okay, by its structure, by its function. So an ethnic group or ethnicity is a category of people who identify with each other, usually on the basis of common genealogy and ancestry. All right, so the $1,000,000 question is, brothers and sisters, according to genotype, phenotype, transcription, we know that genes are expressed based on the genotype, phenotype, which is the genetic coding. Okay, so what we need to find out is based on ethnicity, which determines the physical characteristics and traits of different groups of humans. Exactly where does each human group belong? Okay, based upon ethnicity. Okay, what blood group is the African? What blood group is the Asian? What blood group is the European? What blood group is the Latino? Okay, and same thing for biochemistry, because this is also dealing with genotype. Okay, what biochemistry is the set grouping for Africans? What biochemistry is the set grouping for Europeans? What biochemistry is the set grouping for Latinos? What biochemistry is the set grouping for Asians? Until we establish identification or biological identity in this manner, then there'll continue to be a lot of confusion, okay? And like I said, mainstream medicine tends to generalize biochemistry and not acknowledge that genotype, phenotype, transcription is what determines your ethnicity. And when dealing with chemistry and medicine and foods, that chemistry is based upon the way that chemicals interact together. So foods are made of chemicals. Plants are made of chemicals. Your body is made of chemicals. Medicines are made of chemicals. Medicines are extracted from plants and modified. Okay? So you have to make sure that your food and your medicine is matching your chemistry. This is another reason why we got to find out who we are based upon our genetic grouping.